"You were just my backup plan in case he flaked," she said without shame. So I quietly cut all contact, blocked her, and vanished. A year later, she saw me with the woman who chose me first and realized too late what she lost. Hey viewers, before we move on to the video, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if you want to see more stories like this. Thanks. I used to think love was about showing up, being consistent, doing the little things right even when no one noticed. I thought that if you were loyal, supportive, and emotionally available, you'd eventually be valued for it. That was before Jess. I met Jess at a mutual friend's birthday dinner. She was sitting across from me, red lipstick, sarcastic smile, and a look like she'd already decided she was too good for the room. I wasn't her type, not at first. She told me later she usually went for edgy guys, whatever that meant. But I was steady. I listened when she talked, remembered things she said, and I never tried to impress her with anything fake. Eventually, she called me refreshing. We started seeing each other casually, but within a few months, it turned into more. By the end of the year, we were spending most nights together. She moved into my apartment during the lockdowns. Said it was temporary, but 3 months turned into 2 years. Jess was magnetic in public. People gravitated toward her. She made friends quickly, flirted effortlessly, and always had a story to tell. I was the opposite. I kept my circle tight. I focused on my job, my goals, and staying grounded. Still, I loved her. Or at least, I loved the version of her I thought was real. I used to do things for her that now seem insane. I helped her land a new job after she got fired from her retail gig, spent a weekend redoing her resume and prepping her for interviews. I paid off her $1,200 credit card debt once when her interest rate ballooned. She called me my sweet little finance hero. I laughed, thinking it was affectionate. She used to say I was too nice for my own good, that I didn't get mad even when I should. At the time, I wore that like a badge of honor. I thought it meant I was emotionally mature. Looking back, it meant she didn't take me seriously. The first red flag I ignored was Ryan. Ryan was her old friend, the kind she used to hook up with, but it never got serious. He lived in another city, allegedly had a girlfriend, but they kept in touch through Instagram and the occasional FaceTime. I brought it up once, gently, and she snapped. "I'm not cutting people off just because you're insecure." So I backed off. I didn't want to be that guy. Controlling, jealous, overbearing. I told myself it was fine, that if she was with me, it meant something. But slowly, little cracks started to form. She got weird about her phone. Started taking calls in the bathroom. Her texts got shorter, her laughs more forced. We'd be watching something on Netflix and she'd be scrolling through her feed, half engaged. Once, when I asked her what was going on, she shrugged and said, "Honestly, I just feel like I'm stuck in a routine. Like, we're in this pattern. And sometimes I wonder if we're just comfortable, not passionate." I should have seen it coming. The real wake-up call came at her friend Megan's place. We were there for a casual get-together, just 6 or 7 people, wine, charcuterie, background music. I stepped outside to take a call from my mom, and when I came back in, I heard Megan say, "So are you going to tell him what's going on with Ryan? Or just hope it fizzles again?" I froze in the hallway. I couldn't see them, but I could hear Jess sigh. "Not yet. There's no point if Ryan disappears again like last time. But if he sticks around this time, I'm done pretending." The words hit like a punch in the stomach. I walked back into the room casually, pretending I didn't hear anything. She looked up and smiled at me, completely unaware. I smiled back. Didn't say a word. I didn't sleep much that night. My brain wouldn't shut off. I kept replaying the conversation, wondering how much of the past year had been a lie. Wondering if she ever actually loved me, or if I was just convenient. I didn't confront her right away. I wanted to be sure. Maybe I was overreacting. Maybe it was just talk. But deep down, I already knew. A few days later, I got confirmation, but not in the way I expected. She was in the kitchen, cooking something while FaceTiming Megan. Her phone was propped up on the counter, and she didn't realize I had walked in. "Look," she said, twirling her hair. "I always liked Ryan more. I only stuck with my name because Ryan kept ghosting me. But now that Ryan's back, I'm not going to miss my chance over a backup plan." Megan laughed. "You're brutal." Jess grinned. "I'm just being real." That was the moment something inside me snapped, but not in the way you'd think. I didn't rage. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just turned around, walked back to the bedroom, and started packing a bag. She didn't even notice. I didn't say anything that night. Not a word. I packed a duffel bag, grabbed my laptop, my keys, and left. She texted me around 11:43 p.m. Jess, where'd you go? Jess, you okay? Jess, seriously, are you mad at me or something? I didn't answer. I slept in my car that night, in the parking garage under my office building. Not because I didn't have options. I have friends. A brother in town. But I needed the silence. I needed a moment where no one could lie to me, distract me, or spin their version of things. I sat there in the dark, staring at the ceiling, listening to the quiet hum of the building above me. And for the first time in 2.5 years, I started to feel calm. She didn't try calling. Just a couple more texts in the morning. Jess, can you come home? I'm worried about you. Jess, whatever this is, can we just talk? That last one almost made me laugh. Talk? When exactly was she planning to do that, before or after she tossed me aside for her flaky main option? I went to work the next morning like nothing had happened. Ran the morning meeting. Closed 2 deals. Smiled at coworkers. Nobody noticed the bags under my eyes or the weight in my chest. I'd mastered pretending. That night, I went back to the apartment. I didn't want drama, didn't want to fight. I just wanted clarity. My plan was simple. Get her to say it out loud. She was sitting on the couch in a hoodie and pajama shorts, hair up, scrolling through her phone. She barely looked up when I walked in. You didn't answer any of my messages, she said, like I'd just come home late from the bar. I needed a night to think, I replied. Calm. Neutral. She stood and walked over. Think about what? I motioned toward the couch. Sit. She did. I didn't. I want to ask you something, I said. And I want a real answer. She crossed her arms. Okay. Are you still in love with me? I asked. She hesitated for a moment, then let out a slow sigh. Well, okay. Where is this coming from? Just answer the question. I mean, I care about you, obviously. That's not what I asked. She looked away. I don't know. Things have been weird between us lately. It feels like we're going in circles. And maybe we've both been feeling it, but just didn't want to say anything. And what about Ryan? I said, deadpan. That froze her. She blinked, eyes darting around the room like she was calculating. What about him? I heard you, I said. At Megan's. And again on FaceTime yesterday. You called me your backup plan. She went pale. Opened her mouth, closed it. Then, like flipping a switch, she went straight to defense mode. Okay, first of all, that was a private conversation. Do you deny saying it? She was silent. I nodded. Right. Jess stood up suddenly, frustrated. It's not what it sounded like. You said you only stayed with me because Ryan kept ghosting you. That I was just someone to fall back on. Her voice sharpened. You're twisting it. I was venting to a friend. People say things they don't mean when they're frustrated. You sounded pretty sure. I was confused. Okay, she snapped. I didn't know what I wanted. And Ryan's been in and out of my life forever. I thought maybe, just maybe, if it worked out with him this time, I should explore that. And what exactly am I in this scenario? The emotional storage unit you park in between breakups. That's not fair, she said, folding her arms tightly. What's not fair is how long I stood by you while you played pretend, I said, voice still calm. I helped you get back on your feet. I believed in you when nobody else did. And the entire time, you were waiting for someone better to show up. She scoffed. I never said he was better. You didn't have to. We stood there in silence. She looked like she wanted to cry, or scream, or throw something. But all she did was whisper, so what now? I took a breath. I'm done, Jess. You made your choice. I just finally heard it out loud. She blinked. So that's it. You're not even going to try to work through this. I worked through this for 2.5 years. Alone. You were just waiting for someone else to come pick you up. You're blowing everything out of proportion. You're not even giving me a chance to explain. You already did. I grabbed my bag and keys. Walked toward the door. You're just gonna walk out, she yelled after me. I stopped and turned to look at her. You walked out first. I'm just catching up. Then I left. Didn't slam the door. Didn't say another word. And I never looked back. After I walked out of that apartment, I didn't go back. Not for a conversation, not for closure, not even for the stuff I left behind, a few shirts, a set of headphones, some old books. She could keep it all. I didn't want a single thing that reminded me of her. I blocked her number, deleted our chats, muted her on every platform. I didn't make some grand announcement. I didn't post some dramatic caption about moving on. I just went dark. I vanished from her life as if I'd never been in it. And that's when it hit her. The first email came 3 days later. Subject, can we please talk? Body, I know you're hurt. I made mistakes. I panicked. But I never stopped caring about you. Can we please just talk, face to face? I didn't respond. A few days later, I got another one. Longer this time. Rambling. Emotional. She said she missed me. That she didn't realize how much I meant to her until I was gone. That she was confused when she said those things. That she didn't mean it like it sounded. Of course she didn't. It only sounded bad once she realized I wasn't going to beg for her back. But the truth was, I didn't miss her. Not anymore. What I missed was the version of her I thought existed, the person I believed she was. That person died the moment I heard her say I was just a backup plan. The silence that followed became my therapy. At first, it was hard. I'd have moments in the middle of the night where I'd wonder if maybe I overreacted. If maybe I should have fought harder. But those thoughts didn't last long. Because every time I started to waver, I'd remember her exact words. I only stuck with him because Ryan kept ghosting me. It wasn't a mistake. It was a decision. A cold, calculated choice to string me along while she waited for someone she liked more. So I did what she never expected. I built a life without her in it. I started going to the gym consistently. Not out of spite, but because I finally had the mental space to focus on myself. I spent weekends with friends I'd neglected during the relationship. I picked up hobbies again, photography, hiking, things that brought me peace. I started sleeping better, eating better, thinking clearer. One night, about a month later, I got a text from her best friend Megan. Megan, hey, just wanted to say I'm really sorry about what happened. I didn't know she was being that shady. Hope you're doing okay. I never replied. But that was the first sign her little support network was starting to unravel. Then came the second. I ran into a mutual friend of ours at a birthday party. We hadn't seen each other in months, and he looked uncomfortable when he brought her up. Yeah, Jess and Ryan didn't really work out, he said. Apparently, he dipped after like 2 months. Blocked her, I think. I just nodded. Sorry to hear that. I wasn't. Turns out, Ryan had done what he always did. He got bored. Moved on. Ghosted her the moment she started getting emotionally attached. Exactly what she did to me, only faster. Poetic. That same night, I met someone. Emma. She was nothing like Jess, not loud, not flirty, not the center of every room. She was soft-spoken, grounded, and didn't play games. We talked for an hour straight without checking our phones once. She asked questions, actually listened, and didn't try to impress me. She was just real. We exchanged numbers, and for the first time in months, I felt something that wasn't anger or regret. I felt peace. Emma and I took things slow. I told her up front that I'd been through some things, and she didn't flinch. She didn't ask me to explain everything right away. She just let me be myself, no performance, no pretending. It wasn't some whirlwind rebound. It was calm, easy, honest. And it made me realize how exhausting it had been to constantly prove my worth to someone who was always waiting for someone better. A few weeks after I started seeing Emma, I got another email from Jess. This one was different. Subject, I get it now. Body, I know you probably won't read this, and I don't blame you. But I just want you to know I get it now. I messed up something real because I was chasing something that never existed. I thought Ryan was what I wanted. Turns out he was never capable of loving anyone. And now I've lost the one person who actually showed up for me. You didn't deserve how I treated you. I'm sorry. There it was. The apology. But it didn't land the way she thought it would. Because by then, I didn't need it. I'd already healed. Already moved on. Already realized that people who truly love you don't make you feel like a backup. They choose you first and always. I didn't respond. She'd used her words before to manipulate, to cover up, to justify. Now, her words were powerless. I didn't need them. I had something better. I had peace. About 2 months after Jess's last email, her name popped up again, but not in my inbox. This time, it was on my phone. An unknown number, but the message made it obvious. Hey, I know I'm probably the last person you want to hear from, but I just wanted to say I'm really happy for you. I saw some photos of you, and that girl, she seems sweet. You look really good. I didn't respond. An hour later, another one came through. I've been thinking a lot lately about us. About how I ruined something solid because I was chasing some fantasy. I don't expect anything. Just If you ever want to talk, I'd really like that. Still no response. She followed up the next day with a picture. A selfie. No words, just her looking into the camera with that same forced pout she used to post on Instagram. Blocked. I figured that would be it. But Jess was never good at taking a hint, especially when she felt the power slipping. Soon, her friends started showing up in my inbox. Megan, hey, I know things got messy, but she's really not doing well. I've never seen her like this. She misses you. I'm not saying you should forgive her, but maybe just talk to her. Sam, mutual friend, she's been asking about you a lot, man. Says she made the biggest mistake of her life. You don't owe her anything, just letting you know. I didn't engage with any of it. I wasn't angry anymore. I was indifferent, and that's what made it worse for her. Because the one thing Jess had always counted on was getting a reaction. And now, she got nothing. Then, about a month later, the final message came. Long, desperate, rambling. Jess, I need to say this. I don't know how else to reach you. I know I said horrible things. I was scared. Ryan was always this fantasy in my head, and I clung to it because I thought I didn't deserve the kind of love you gave me. I've been in therapy. I'm trying to understand why I sabotaged something so good. I still remember how you used to hold me when I was anxious. How you made coffee for me in the mornings. How you picked me up at 3 a.m. when I locked my keys in the car. Nobody's ever treated me like that. And now you're gone. I get it. I really do. But if there's any chance you consider seeing me again, just for coffee, just to talk, I'd give anything. Please don't hate me. Please don't forget about me. I stared at the screen for a while. Not out of emotion. Just clarity. She didn't miss me. She missed what I gave her. The security. The warmth. The effort. The unconditional patience. She missed being loved without having to earn it. And now that she had to face the emptiness alone, she wanted it back. But I wasn't that man anymore. It had been nearly a year since I walked out of that apartment when I ran into her again. Not by design, fate just has a sense of humor. It was at a mutual friend's engagement party. Emma and I had been dating for about 8 months by then. She wasn't just my girlfriend, she was my peace. Everything Jess never was. We walked into the event hand in hand. Emma looked elegant but understated, classy in a way that didn't try too hard. The kind of woman who made people lean in when she spoke, not because she was loud, but because she didn't need to be. We'd barely been there 5 minutes when I saw Jess. She was at the bar, alone. Her hair was longer, her makeup heavier. She looked tired. Not physically, exactly. Just worn. Like someone who'd been trying too hard for too long and finally stopped pretending she was okay. Her eyes locked onto me. Froze. I nodded politely, nothing more, and turned back to Emma. 15 minutes later, Jess approached. Can I talk to you? She said, eyes flicking nervously between me and Emma. I looked at Emma. She gave a small nod, then wandered toward the dessert table without hesitation. Jess and I stepped just outside onto the patio, away from the noise. The moment the door shut, she exhaled like she'd been holding it in for a year. I wasn't sure you'd even show up, she said. It's our mutual friend's engagement, I said flatly. Why wouldn't I? She nodded. You look different. I am. Just look down. I guess you saw everything I sent. Or maybe you didn't. I don't know. I saw it. Silence stretched for a moment. I messed up, she said finally. I know that sounds small compared to everything I did, but I just want you to know I really did love you. I was just too immature to recognize it when I had it. I nodded. Maybe. Or maybe you just loved the way I made you feel. Not me. She blinked. That hit harder than she expected. I've changed, she said. I've been doing work on myself. I know it doesn't fix what happened, but I just wanted to tell you in person. I needed you to know. I looked out at the street, then back at her. My voice was calm, steady. Jess, you once told your friend that I was your backup plan, that you were only with me until someone better came along. She swallowed. I know. I regret saying that every day. I don't, because it taught me the most important lesson of my life. Never settle for someone who needs to lose you to value you. She didn't reply. I nodded toward the window, where Emma was laughing with a group of friends. She chose me first, and she never had to compare me to anyone else to know what she had. Jess's eyes followed my gaze. She seems nice. She is. And she's honest. She doesn't need attention from other men to feel worthy. She doesn't treat love like a contest. Jess looked like she wanted to say something more, maybe argue, maybe apologize again, but she didn't. She just nodded. Take care of yourself, I said. Then I turned and walked back inside. Emma looked up, saw me, and smiled like I was the only person in the room. And in that moment, I knew I hadn't just moved on from Jess. I had upgraded from her in every possible way. Jess didn't reach out again after that night. No more emails. No more desperate messages. No mutual friends testing the waters on her behalf. She finally understood. She no longer had access to me. Not just to my time, to my energy, my presence, my care. All the parts of me that she once took for granted. They were gone. Not stolen. Not taken away in anger. Just reclaimed. Because the truth is, I didn't need revenge. I didn't need her to cry or apologize in front of a crowd or beg on her knees. That's not what healing looks like. Real healing happened in the quiet. In the mornings I woke up without that heaviness in my chest. In the calm I felt walking into my apartment and knowing peace lived there now. Emma and I built something from scratch. No ghosts, no games, no waiting for the other shoe to drop. She chose me the way I always wanted to be chosen. Freely, clearly, and without hesitation. And I finally chose myself too. There was a moment, maybe 2 months after that party, when I was cleaning out an old drawer and found a note Jess had written me years ago. A goofy post-it from some random Tuesday. "You're my favorite safe space. Don't ever change." I held it for a second, smiled once, and threw it away. She was right about one thing. I was safe. Steady. Real. But I did change. I stopped being someone's safe space while they waited for a thrill ride. I stopped being the man someone settled for just in case. Sometimes people ask if I ever hear what happened to her. Truth is, I don't ask. A friend once mentioned she'd moved back in with her mom for a bit. That she switched jobs again. That she's laying low. But none of it sticks in my mind. I don't hate her. I don't wish her pain. I just don't care. She became a lesson I outgrew. A name that used to matter, now just background noise. Like a song you once loved, but haven't played in years. What matters now is the life I've built after her. Emma and I just got a place together, a modest little home with more plants than furniture right now. We spend weekends making pancakes and arguing about whether or not the cat should sleep on the bed. We laugh a lot. We talk even more. And sometimes, when she's curled up next to me with her head on my chest, she'll say something simple like, "I'm glad we found each other." And I always smile. Because I didn't find her by luck. I found her by walking away from the person who never deserved me in the first place. And I'll never go back. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button.